You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls. Tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Punisher Waterfowls The Refuge is presented by Quick Koys, the fastest deployable, most portable, lifelike motion decoy product ever invented for duck hunters.
Hey everybody, this is Kyle Smock with Show Me Ducks, a proud sponsor of Punisher Waterfowls The Refuge this March at the Toronto Sportsman Show. Come check us out in The Refuge to see the Deep Diver 2.0, the Ice Quacker, and the Mini Quacker.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430. This is episode 211. Merry fucking Christmas. Yeah,
Feliz Navidad.
this is going to be the Christmas episode. So before we get going, I have to... Oh, sorry.
Should have put on a Santa hat.
You know what? We should have put on Santa hats, but...
Again, we're hunters.
Too late now.
Expect nothing.
You know, 2024 has been an amazing year, and a big part of that is because of the sponsors that we have. And they sponsor us and help us out with not only the show, but everything we do. And that's, Ducklander Calls, who I'm wearing this hoodie on today. Real Geese, who's been with us right from the very beginning. And First Light, who's always been in our corner as well. So without those three, I don't know how successful we would be. So a big thank you to those three brands. 2024 was amazing, and I'm looking forward to 2025. And then we have to thank Captain Jeff Coates from Pit Boss Waterfowl, all the way from Ocean City, Maryland. Thank you. You are the voice of the Union 0430 podcast.
We will throw out a subtle shout out to Crabs to Go.
Billy and his Crabs to Go.
Why not?
Yeah, well, hey, why not?
It's the official food sponsor of Pit Boss Waterfowl.
I believe so.
Is it?
If it's
not the official, it's the unofficial.
Unofficial, yeah. So thank you to Jeff Coates and everybody, Duckland, Bobby Hayes and Ducklander, and Logan Williams in First Light, and Mr. Craig Mintz of Real Geese. You guys have all been amazing to us, and looking forward to 2025. All right. Merry fucking Christmas, boys. Yeah, I thought it would be nice tonight to just us. I was hoping Mark was going to be on, but I know he's extremely busy with work and trying to get stuff squared away with his father-in-law and all that stuff. So I know he's busy. It's just too bad. I was hoping to get him on tonight, but either way, we'll bash on, and I thought that it would be a good idea for us to come on tonight and not have a guest, but I guess sort of kind of reflect on our 2024, our season, all of the lead up to our season, which, once February hits, if you're anything like me, all you're really doing from February on to the following September is just prepping for the next season, right? So I thought it'd be good.
Just waiting.
Just waiting, right? So I thought it'd be good if we just jumped on and just shot the shit and hung out for a little bit and reflect on 2024 and probably throw out some hints on stuff that's coming for 2025.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, Damien, you were out west for a period of time this season, so you had a great fall. Craig, you won that big trip with FA, repping the hat. So
it's the only hat that fits well.
that is totally a Mark hat too.
That is a Mark hat.
Yeah, but Mark and I have the same issue. All the other hats sit too high.
But is that not something that is such a dude thing? I like this hat. It fits me right. This is my hat.
Yeah.
Speaking of hats, Damon, yours is on backwards.
Yeah.
Just a question: do you ever see sun visors in cars on the back of the car, or are they on the front?
No. And we're gonna just politely tell Philly to shut his face.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I can't say I've honestly seen you ever run, so I couldn't see that acting like a spoiler.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
tell you
just
what.
throw that out
I
there.
tell you what, I do not need a spoiler to keep my ass end down close to
Yeah,
the down close to the ground. I
you
don't
don't
need it
have
for traction.
you don't
No.
have traction issues.
No.
But yeah,
No.
there's a handful of boys I work with, and like there's a pile of guys I work with, anyways. But there's a handful of them that wear their hats backwards. I'm like, have you ever seen a fucking sun visor in the back of the car? No. Why? Why the fuck's your hat on backwards?
Bill Kennedy makes fun of me all the time when I wear it too, because I'll do this, and then I'll be like if we're out dog training, and I'm like
Squinting.
squinting, and I'll put my hand over like when I'm trying to see what the dogs are doing or something, and he'll always make fun of me, and he'll be like, "Why don't you just turn your hat around properly, and then you wouldn't have to worry about this."
And
Remember
and
seeing a
me,
meme like
me
that?
and me knowing Bill, that's a Bill thing too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Like
yeah.
Bill's OG.
I saw a meme one time. It was a guy at a ball game with his hat on backwards, sunglasses. Can't remember if they were like on top of his hat or like hanging off his neck, and doing the same thing, squinting with the hand over the eyes.
Yeah, yeah,
You've got two means of rectifying that, sweetheart.
yeah.
Anyways, on to our year. It
No,
was a
but
great year.
no, but I wanted, the hat issue. Like, I honestly, there is a definite line being drawn in the sand when it comes to hats. So the Richardson hat that's structured and it's got the high crown just like the Rig'em Right one you're wearing, Philly, and I got my Punisher one on. Um,
I love this style of hat.
I like these hats as well, but I also like the hats that Craig is wearing as well. I like those low profile, like the original, what I call ball hat, right?
Yeah.
And I can switch back and forth. I like both of them, but I find there is a definite line in the sand where fellas are like, I like the Richardson hats, or I like, the low profile hats, and there's no cross pollination there whatsoever.
Yeah, for me, it's just a straight up necessity because to wear any of the formed hats, it's just the proportions. It's just no, it just sits too high, or it's like to pull it down, like then it's like right on my glasses, pushing onto my nose and that. So this is the only one I can get away with.
I know Mark, he ordered one from Tango Free like last year sometime, and he got one, and he was like, "This is the best hat I've ever had." And I was like, "Oh yeah, really?" And then he proceeded to order like every time he ordered another hat. Like he's got
Yeah,
so many Tango Free hats right now, and all it is just changing the color or changing the patch, but it's all the same model of hat. That's
yeah.
hilarious. Which tells me, and I just seen Philly get up from his screen, so that tells me
He's
he's
going to
on
find
his.
a hat.
Yeah, he's gone to find a hat. Yeah, there. Yeah, exactly, 100%. So
My thing. Now that I've like unplugged back in here because I lost reception. My deal, waxed hats.
wax hats, eh?
Yeah.
There's yeah, I
So I've got this is the Filson Bottomland wax
yeah,
cat. Again, it's like low profile.
mm-hmm,
I got a Filson one. I got one from Dixie.
yeah,
Um, I snagged one from Habitat Flats when I was there.
nice.
I've got one. I think I actually bought it off Amazon. It's actually hanging up here with Thor's leash and whistles and stuff. But it's
Trying to
like
think.
it's
I'm
like that like Filson tan wax with like a darker brim hat, like Bill on it. Like the wax hats are like I don't know. Wouldn't say I'm collecting them, but I may have a slight
Damien stepped away to get his collection now.
might have a slight affliction, and yeah, bought a few.
Well, I don't. It's not that I don't like them. I've got a really nice Delta waterfowl wax hat. And it is a really nice wax hat, and it's low profile and the whole bit. Um, I don't want to say I don't like them, but it's definitely not the most comfortable hat for me. And that's really why I don't wear it. But um, I do see a few brands that are going into that waxed hat sort of kind of thing, and they're starting to come out with some items waxed, and there definitely is a market for it, especially anybody that I think the guys that are on the coast are the guys that are really rocking those waxed hats, right?
Well, yeah,
Not
like a lot of the guys rocking like the Stormy Chromers,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
Dixie Decoys has a version.
yeah. Hmm.
Filson Filson has sold them on and off over the years. Like, yeah, there's a number of companies, they've got like kind of like the quasi shorter brim and then like the ear flaps with the wool and yeah, like a full wax version.
Yeah. But yeah, no, tangent hats. We'll
Hey,
we'll
Fell
get
into
part,
that
hey,
one
it's
right away.
part of the hey, it's
hey,
part of the gear, bro. When
yeah,
you're sitting up
well,
there duck hunting and it starts raining, what's the first thing that rain hits?
hey, I get it, man, and I really do. Um, and this whole, I think here's another rabbit hole for us to go down. So if you look at the Punisher Waterfowl brand, and it is a small brand, and there's not a lot of sales, right? Like I've got that online store, but I don't update it with products, and I'm not a real imaginative person when it comes to coming up with new designs. Now I do have a couple things coming out in the new year, but that's because I got some help from a graphic artist and stuff. But if I look at I'm always being the copycat when it comes to clothing. And I can never find something that I truly come up with and then branded it, and then other people sort of kind of piggybacked off me, right? I'm always looking at everybody else's stuff and I'm like, oh, I like that. Yeah, that would look sweet branded with Punisher Waterfowl or something like that, right? But I am, and with my previous statement, but I've said to you guys, I really want to do flannel. Like for some, I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't know if it's because I'm 47 years old now and I'm supposed to wear, and I think I'm supposed to wear button down shirts or whatever, but I don't know. I got
And
this.
you're supposed to be smoking meat or into like history, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'm supposed to be wearing khakis and button down shirts and
Oh, what
and
is it like? What's the jacket? Yeah, there's like a certain type of jacket with like the tweed elbow
oh, the
patches.
elbow
Oh yeah,
pads. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
yeah.
no, that's
Like
that's
like
that's
like maybe
for
having a
that's for
pipe.
hipsters. Hey,
No, no, no,
hey,
no.
no, dude, I would totally rock a pipe. If I could smoke a pipe and not get back into smoking cigarettes full time, I would totally rock a pipe 100%.
I think with the flannel and everything too, it's like you're an outdoorsman, you're a waterfowler, you have a certain image to uphold too, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
You're a woodsman.
yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
so it's funny because like in our household, Carrie was never much of a beard sort of person, right? But then
yeah.
it's like I just let myself go and got it going, and then so for Halloween, I just got a red plaid shirt, some light colored jeans, and like one of the kids' fake axes, and I was just a lumberjack at Halloween.
Right.
And she's like, "You should probably start wearing some more plaid shirts once in a while."
There you
You
go.
threw on a pair.
There
You
you
threw on
go.
a pair of gray track pants, and that was the end of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that was
Next,
it.
you know, you had another kid
Sold.
on the way.
And you're pregnant.
If you see me practicing my nunchucks while wearing Crocs in the garage, stay clear. I wouldn't want
That
you to get pregnant.
Yeah.
Hey, so maybe that's it, Craig. Maybe um the catchphrase or the lure to get more dudes into flannel. Maybe that's how I gotta market this
Yeah.
is get some flannel and then get some fucking big beefy bearded motherfuckers and get them, wearing this flannel and then once listen, if your significant other likes it, you're in. Because then
Yeah.
she's probably
yeah.
gonna buy it for you.
Yeah. Then they start dressing you.
Then they start dressing you, and then Damien becomes a millionaire because of flannel shirts.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. I'll
Doesn't hurt
share
to
it.
try.
I'll share it with you guys though, because it
Hmm.
was partly your ideas too. So
Yeah.
no, but
Hey, let's get into our season, our year. Our year
We
is
tried that, then you started going on about hats.
Oh,
Yeah.
look, fucking what else is new?
yeah. No, so the year, so 2024, yeah, man. Like I think 2024 has been a great year. There's been some changes within the Punisher brand, like Dave Palmer walked away, Ryan Bro walked away. Um, they just for whatever reason that they had their own reasons, whatever, and God love them that it is what it is, and no harm, no foul, you know. But 2024 has been it's been a year for the brand, going at it by myself. And you guys are always there for me to bounce ideas off and help me and give me suggestions and make sure I don't go too far off the rails when I start thinking of stuff. But um I do think 2024 was a great year for the brand. And for me, not just the brand, but and for me, and I think really, and I don't want to hog all the bandwidth here, but I think it started with 2024 in March when we done the Toronto Sportsman's Show, Philly and Craig. Like that
Oh,
was that
the refuge was something else.
it was
It's a
like it
busy
really
spot.
it was this year, right? Like, and this year was so 2024 was the second year for the refuge, third year in the Toronto Sportsman's Show, but the second year for the refuge, and it did well. And I sent you guys the screenshot today of the message I got from Eric Stella from Decoy Daddy, um, where he said he had an amazing year this year, and part of that success came from the refuge and being there at the show and getting to talk to people and let people touch his product and build those relationships. So 2024 really for the Punisher Waterfowl brand started at the Toronto Sportsman Show and just kept pushing forward. And now here we are starting to look at 2025 for the Toronto Sportsman Show, and it's going to be even bigger again this year.
Yeah, it was cool to see that when you sent that message along. 'Cause it's pretty cool just to kind of see that messaging coming from people and to
Yeah,
not even to just to see you get that credit, but just to I don't know how to put it, just to see people appreciating the connections and stuff as well.
to
And like
me, it
knowing like we were potentially a part of someone's growth and development.
yeah, absolutely. And so for me, it validates the idea that I had that when I pitched this idea of the refuge to the Toronto Sportsman Show, I'm like, hey, listen, man, like you've got a great community of waterfowlers in Ontario, in Canada, and hey, listen, are we as big as some of the shows down in south of the border in the U.S.? No, it's not, and you know what? We probably will never be.
But we're lacking that element.
Yeah, we are, and we were lacking the chance, or we were lacking someone to try it. because everybody said, well, it wouldn't work, it wouldn't work, and it wouldn't work. And it'd be awesome if somebody else, did it at the Edmonton show or at the Moncton show or, wherever these outdoor shows go. It would be awesome if somebody else, grabbed the reins and did it. It would be amazing to see and to showcase to these brands. Like I do it on a daily basis when I'm talking to the brands south of the border, where I'm telling, hey, listen, there's a market in Canada. It's not as big as the market in the States, I'm never pretend that it is, but there is a market in Canada, and we've got some pretty passionate waterfowlers in Canada that spend a lot of money. And you know what? All the products come from the States. So that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I guess validation was the word I was looking for. Like you said, it's the amount of hours and effort you put into creating the refuge, and then connections down in Baton Rouge last year, and that. So I'd like
Yeah.
to see that, right? It's cool to see it come together.
Well, and the thing is at the beginning of this show, when I take that moment to thank um Logan from First Light and Craig from Real Geese and Bobby from Ducklander, like that's how those guys, when those guys put their support behind you, it they need to see the validation too, right? Because
Yeah,
nothing is free. Like they need to see the return. Philly, we've talked about this a million times on this show. Like these brands that sponsor you or offer you a pro staff position or whatever, like they have to see a return on investment, or else it doesn't make sense.
100%.
Or it doesn't make sense to them, right? Like
Or in
yeah,
some cases, with some of the brands I'm a part of, is seeing my return on investment,
yeah.
which has also been an issue, but I won't go down that rabbit hole.
No, but like these brands, nothing is free, and people think that these brands, yeah, they get it made overseas. It doesn't cost them anything. Well, no, like it do cost them something. It's cheaper, 100%. But if you expect it for free, and that dude expects it for free, and then that dude expects it for free, well, it's not very long giving away too much free shit, then the business is out of business. So what I'm getting at is getting a message from Eric Stella and the other people that have been part of the refuge over the years, that they're still interested. And listen, we've lost some. We've had some that they didn't see a return on investment. And that's just fact. Like they just
yeah,
didn't see it. And they're not coming back. And I understand why they're not coming back, because as much as they're great people and they view us as good people, it just money wise, it just doesn't make sense.
yeah. And yeah, same with like sponsorships and that, right? Like you may have sponsors that really believe in you and what you're doing, but ultimately they're not just going to throw money at you. And I don't mean like you in particular, but like
I
just
know.
anything, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just still got to make sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to make sense. And you guys have been like Craig, like, you know, and I'll pull Philly into this too, because Philly's a little bit actually Philly's a lot more longer in the tooth at this than what I am, really, even getting sponsors and working with brands and stuff like that. But like Craig, you won that we talked about it, or Phil brought it up. You winning that trip out west with
Final
Final
approach.
Approach, and I'm an idiot. I can't remember the guy's name now. The guide,
Oh,
um,
Tyler from
Tyler
Saskatchewan
Mann.
Goose Company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Saskatchewan Goose with Tyler Mann. Um, you know, like that was an amazing prize for them to give out, and they get like you weren't the only winner.
yep,
Um, but there's a reason why they do that, right?
yep,
They want to get maximum exposure on social media and get people talking and get people hey, listen, we got to follow Final Approach, and we got to follow Tyler Mann and Saskatchewan Goose Company, because maybe they'll do that, and I could win it next year. Like it, I get it. It's nice that you win, but they need to get something
Yeah.
back. Like they gave you a
Yeah.
pile of gear. Weatherby
Oh,
gave
yeah.
you a new gun. There was so much money that was spent to get you this prize. They need to get something back from that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like there's a reason why they were getting lots of footage when we were there, and
Yeah, of
doing
course.
promos and stuff during the hunts and that, right? So it's like
Hmm.
you'll see that, like, there hasn't been a lot of outward stuff yet, but it's like there'll be full. There's going to be episodes. There's going to be other promos talking about the contest, talking about the hunts and that, right? So it's like, yeah, it's all a business, right?
But
It's
absolutely.
happening for a reason.
Well, yeah, they got to get. So they've done all the, on the hunts. They've captured everything. Now they've got to build it. They've got to build that social media campaign
Yeah.
like that's just the way it is. But Philly, to pull you into this, you've been around, even back in your days when you were guiding and you were sponsored, and now, with your own photography work, where you do work for Benelli Canada and you do work for Kent Canada, and stuff like this. Um, if you're not giving them quality, um what am I looking for, pictures, images, I guess was the word I was looking
Yeah,
for. If you're not giving them,
Material.
yeah,
content.
quality material, then they're not going to hand shit over to you. They're not
Yeah,
going to do it
like
because, well, Philly's a good dude, let's just give him shit. It doesn't work like that.
yeah. It doesn't filter down like, oh yeah, he's just he's a nice guy. No, like you got to hustle and you got to produce, and like for a lot of people that are not into photography and don't know, so your photo retention for how many pictures you take versus how much are actually usable, it's about 10%. So
If you're
like I
good.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's if you're
Yeah.
good, I would say
So I
10%.
so I was in Saskatchewan 2 years ago, and I think I snapped around 1,800 photos during the
Yep.
1 week that I was there.
Yep.
And out of those 1,800, I plucked out less than 300 that I deemed, at least as myself, as usable. And then out of that, like we'll just use the number 300 for example. Out of those 300, I edit a pile of those photos, and like obviously some go to Kent, some go to Benelli, and then on top of, like, say I gave Kent 200 of those photos, so that's 200 out of 1,800. So
Yeah.
200 out of 1,800 I give Kent, they are further going to be redacted. So out of those 200, there might be 120, 100
That
that
Kent
are
would
like that,
use.
yeah.
Out of 200, and this isn't a slight against your work, but knowing Kent and the way Kent's got a ton of people that does work for him and
Yeah,
takes
like there's
pictures,
a
and
handful of us that supply content.
there's a handful. Out of 200 pictures, Philly, if you could get, I would say in 2025, if you had 20 pictures that they used, I would say that's a huge win for you. Like
Yeah,
that they
like
posted and
Yeah.
used and credited you with taking that picture. If you could get 20 in a year, I would say that's a huge
yeah,
win for
like
you.
it's a lot of work. Like this season hasn't been the greatest, to be honest. Like obviously last year, um, I was at Habitat Flats, and I did another trip back in January of last year down to the Boot Heel of Missouri as well. So
With
I got
dirty
like
rice, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a huge pile of content last year from those trips, and
Mm-hmm.
on top of that, Saskatchewan the year before. So like the last 2 years were like absolute banger years. Like I was doing amazing. This year, shit the bed.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
this year's been just garbage. Now, part of that. So we'll go into Phil's season in review. Um, I have like legitimately done one field shoot this year, one.
mhm.
And for those who know me, that is totally like unorthodox. I did one field shoot with a couple of my buddies, Chris and Alex, during early goose. But like other than that, like my fields got caught, they got plowed super quick. Um, one of my properties, um, I got permission through the actual like owners of the land that live there, and they rented the fields out. So they were rented out to one farming conglomerate, and it has
Right.
since changed hands. So it's now rented to another farming corporation company,
Conglomerate.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they do things slightly different. So this year it was beans, which beans are wicked. Birds like
Mhm.
beans. Birds eat beans. Like I don't know what gives. Like I don't know what the deal is with their equipment, but walking through this property after it had been harvested and it hadn't been tilled, like there was beans everywhere. Like to the point where it I'm like
Just
not
not
gonna lie,
efficient. Just not
it le-
efficient.
it
Yeah.
legitimately looked like it was baited.
Yeah.
There was so many beans, and like this is one of my
There's a,
like
there's a million people listening to this right now. I need to know where this field is right now.
right
Yeah.
now. This property is in a good flyway. Like this property's done me well over the years. Haven't seen a single goose in a field.
Really?
Not one. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, there's beans. Like, I don't even
Maybe
know
they
if they
just got too
harvested any
many
beans.
yeah, maybe they just got other options. Like
Hundred percent.
that's
I don't know what gives.
that's what that tells me. There's just other better
Now,
options.
on the same note, there's also this beautiful little flooded spot on this property, and there's been a few photos leaked on my Instagram from this property
He
to the
says
point
leak, but
where
he purposely put them out.
you know I try to make it sound glamorous. Like this isn't the fucking paparazzi, you know. But there is this beautiful little flood spot out in the back of this property, totally hidden. I hunted it. Like I've had permission on this property for like 18 years, 18, 19 years. I've been hunting this place. Now, the original owners, like they were kind of hesitant about me hunting this particular spot for whatever reason. And again, like I'm not going to push the envelope. Hey, you're giving me the other 300 acres to shoot, not a problem.
Yeah.
But it's now since changed owners, and the new owners are like, yeah, buddy, full send. Well, send I shall. So I kind of fabricated a bit of a makeshift duck blind in it.
Oh yeah,
I've done,
right. I've seen that.
yeah, I've done some work to the water itself, and have made it a very prolific duck hole.
Nice.
Well,
I
said
wanna
duck hole has been punching birds like no tomorrow. 300 acres of goddamn beans, and a thing was freaking bird in it.
you know, never mind. Keep going, Philly. There was
As we were,
something
no,
I
well,
lost. Yeah, as you
It's
were.
pretty lucky though, like
you
to have
you probably should have wrote it down.
Yeah.
a change up in ownership and actually get more opportunity out of it, right? Like who's ever heard of that?
Yeah, like it's definitely worked out. Not obviously, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but unfortunately, that's not going to last forever because it's going to end up as houses.
Hmm.
Mm.
But it is what it is. But like I'm going to milk the shit out of it for what it's worth until the absolute bitter end.
Especially
Um,
in your area, it's only going to get worse and worse, right?
oh yeah, but like I'm losing land by the day. It is what it is. You can't get away from it. And that's just the nature of the beast of where I live, where I hunt, where I scout, where I knock on doors. Maybe I should just start knocking on doors elsewhere, but I'm not gonna
But
say I'm lazy, but
the important thing to take away from this, Craig, and I want to get you to chime in because I know this affects you. I don't want to say it affects you more than Phil, but um, I just think it does. But it's not that it's a competition. But Phil, the biggest thing that I think people need to take away from your messaging when you're saying this year I didn't take as many pictures. This year I only done one field hunt. there is very few people in this waterfowling world that can devote the full season to hunting, and that is day in, day out doing it. And there's not many fellas or people, because there's some girls right now that's absolutely friggin' killing it down in the States, so I gotta include them as well. Um, the we used to have Eric Massey used to come on this show fairly often, and one of Eric's biggest messages he used to always put out there was, listen, if you can only get out once a week, just do it. Don't listen to the noise in the background or nothing. If it's once a week is all you can get out, if you only get one evening to scout, if you only get one morning to hunt, do it. Don't pay attention to the noise on the outside. Like, Philly, you've got a young family, plus you and your wife work, and Craig, and this is where it rolls into you. So Phil's been hunting in that area for years and years and years, and he's a little bit more established when it comes to knowing a couple property owners and being
Yeah.
able to talk to people, right? But then this is where I say it affects you a little bit more, just because you haven't always lived in this area where you are. You try to scout as much as you can. You have two very busy boys with a very busy spouse, and you guys try to do family things together as much as possible. So your
Yeah.
amount of time to get out to scout, find birds, so, and I'm not trying to steal away from Phil, but like, what was your 2024 fall season like?
It started off good. It was looking promising. Like I did get some more properties, more permissions during the early season. And it was looking promising. But I found the farmers who also gave other people permission. So, and that didn't really cause any problems. I ran into guys the very first time I went out, and they were kind of tiptoeing around, inviting me out. And I just said, no, it's fine. You guys go ahead. But now there's two brothers in particular, like, and the three of us are always texting to figure stuff out and scouting and stuff like that. So I started off with a couple of good hunts and some new properties. I found that one little wood duck hole, or well, I hadn't found it. I'd hunted it before, just never with any luck. But I think it was their opening day, and had a good little shoot in there. But I'd say I probably this year and last year did a ton of scouting. So almost most days during the season, like I've been out scouting. So like to me, even just getting myself out there to just keep knocking and keep driving, like to me, that's a level of success. Just to even convince myself to keep doing that. And even like since I came back from Saskatchewan, like there's just been no birds. Corn started coming down, so I was thinking, sweet, we're going to get into birds, and just fucking nothing. And then the only birds we did find was that one morning where I slept in, and then the other guys didn't even end up hunting it anyways, but they scouted it later on, and they said there was like 6 birds in there, so I didn't miss out. But yeah, it's just I still have a busy season in the fact that I'm still out scouting. I'm still, well, not now. We've all the snow we've gotten. There's no water. There's no open fields around my area. South of me, like down around Barrie and that, and the other areas I travel for work, I'm still seeing lots of geese in fields now. The problem is I'm always, hour or more away from home in a work vehicle, a marked work vehicle.
That's
So there's
right.
no opportunity to stop and knock on doors. The odd time I'll pull over, drop a pin, and send it to somebody that I know may be in the area and say, hey, here's a field
Check
for
this
you,
out.
kind of thing, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
check it
check it
out.
out.
Maybe if they end up having luck with it, might get an invite. And nothing's really panned out yet. It's just nobody's had any luck getting permissions and that. But that being said, I don't know if
It's quite funny when Craig Lalonde rolls through my area and sends me a pin on one
yeah.
of our fields.
That is funny.
Phil, there's a pile of birds in this field. I'm like, yeah, I got the one beside it.
Yeah.
And it's a no discharge zone. I used to be able to hunt it.
Yeah.
But Philly,
Well, the thing is,
oh, sorry, go ahead, Craig.
no, I was just gonna say that it's like driving into areas like that. It's like, yeah, you can see the city there, but sometimes it's like, yeah, it's still viable. Sometimes it's not. So like, there's actually this one field I've driven by. I drive by at least once a week, going to do some inspections, and I started seeing geese in this one field, and it's kind of on the edge of Barrie. So I didn't know, is it Barrie? Is it not Barrie? So I took I dropped a pin and sent it to somebody else in the area and said like, hey, like, do you know, like, is this a huntable area? And they're like, yeah, that's legal. And they're like, yeah, I used to have permission, but then it changed hands or whatever. Couldn't figure who it was. And I don't know if you guys saw, I think it was yesterday, a guy posted on the Ontario Duck and Goose Hunters. He's like, hey, I've got geese in this field. Anybody want to go Saturday? And I'm watching the
Oh,
video. And
yeah.
so I messaged him. I'm like, is it this field? And I sent him the picture I'd taken of that field before. He's like, yeah, that's the one. I'm like, yeah, I've been watching that field, but again, like, it's outside my area. I'm just driving by.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
there's no birds. Like, if anyone's checking the weather, there ain't no birds flying on
Yeah,
Saturday.
getting real cold, right?
Like it's gonna be cold as hell. Like so, for like newer hunters and stuff. Like when you get like a vicious cold snap like that, birds don't fly. Like there's a reason why like they feed and feed and feed and feed. It's to build up those like fat reserves for the winter. So like they can like full on legitimately skip a day and not eat.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen Saturday.
Yeah. Well,
Like
because I
it's
saw
funny.
you.
So well, one of my buddies, one of my close friends that I hunt with, he's actually a CO. And unfortunately, like being a CO, like fall time is your prime time work time. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I haven't been able to hunt with my friend for a couple of years now since he's patched over from a previous job to now become a conservation officer. So I was talking to him the other day, and he's like, "Hey, dude, like, you know, like it's been so long, we need to get together." I'm like, "Dude, like you're preaching to the choir here. Like, I got all the time in the world. Your schedule sucks come fall
Yeah.
because that's when you're busy." So I'm like, "Hey, like starting this day to this day, like I'm off for 2 weeks. I'm on vacation, and like I'm home." He's like, "Hey, I'm off Saturday. We should hunt." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be minus 13. You let me know how you make out. I'll be at home in front of my
Yeah.
fireplace."
Well, he's like, so I messaged that guy. I was like, maybe I'll try and get in. Like, share. Because I told him, like, here's the days I was by. Here's the time I was seeing the geese there. Thinking maybe it'll work out to an invite. So we've been chatting. He's like, yeah, he's probably full for the hunt. But then, yeah, I saw you commented that the temperature was supposed to drop. And then
Yeah,
I was
there ain't nothing flying.
at work today. I was at this one facility doing an audit, and one of the employees there said that, yeah, it's supposed to be like minus 20, get down to minus 20 in this area. So it's like, ooh, maybe not so much.
Yeah, we're looking minus 21 Saturday night. I'm gonna have that
Yeah,
wood
it's
stove
crazy.
a freaking glowing.
Hmm. I think there's a big dump of snow coming for your area again too, eh, Craig?
I haven't seen. I'm just glad that, because we have had two big storms where we've gotten at least
Hmm.
2 feet of snow, but then both times finished off by like a day or more of rain and mild temperatures.
Ah,
So right now we only have like the hard packed snow, but everything else is kind of cleared. So which is good, because now it's getting cold and we haven't gotten more snow. So like the ground's getting hard, like the gravel driveway's getting hard. So it's a lot easier to clean in that.
right.
Because yeah, I just hate when it's still mild, the ground's still thawed, and we get 2 feet of snow, so everything's just mush underneath.
I
So I'm
uh,
hoping I'm hoping if we get more snow, at least it's cold a little bit first.
I want to put this to both of you because you both had this happen to you over this year. Um, you talked about that there's so many wins during a season, right? There's so many things that you could put your feather in your hat and be so happy about. And I know you guys talked about some of the struggles and stuff that you had during the season, but Phil, you and Craig, both of you added new hunters um to your family this year, and that is like,
Yep.
I tried to get my kids, like I didn't force my kids, and I know you guys haven't done that either, but my kids really, they are the kids that are like, yeah, I'm not getting that. If you were a
Yeah.
afternoon hunter, I'd be involved, but I'm not getting up in the mornings and doing what you do. But you guys have managed to add three new hunters between the both of yous. You've managed to add three new hunters um, to our population, for lack of a better term. Um, that is a huge success in my view. And
Yeah.
and I Phil, to you first, buddy, and Craig, I'll let you chime in after Phil's done. But if you can pull your family into what you consider your passion, it's just got to be a win, 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 win. It has to be.
Yeah.
Honestly, like my wife and her son, my stepson, both did their courses. Have since passed. They haven't actually gone just because, like, in doing it so late in the year, I'm like,
Yeah,
don't
of
get your
course.
license now,
Doesn't fucking
Yeah.
matter.
because one of your 3 years for like your small game is gonna be good for about like 4 weeks, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
don't worry about the season. Wait till January, and then get your stuff. So you get like a legit 3 full years for your first season of your small game and whatnot. But honestly, um, I can only attest one of those licenses to myself, and that would be my stepson.
Yeah.
Um, the main reason why Dana, my wife, got hers was to do it with her father,
Okay.
and that was her driving force.
Yeah.
Now Dana has like no interest in like buying or owning guns. I may or may not buy her a few, as birthday, anniversary, Christmas gifts.
All I picture is that Homer sent that
Yeah,
Homer
the bowling
episode,
ball.
The
the bowling
Homer
ball.
bowling ball. There it is, buddy.
Yeah.
The Homer fucking reference. Anyways,
Yeah.
but
Every gun
yeah,
engraved with Phil all down the side of
100%
it.
in Cerakote, like just so sexy. Anyways, but yeah, like the main reason why Dana did her course was to go and do archery turkey with her father.
Oh, amazing.
I had zero effort, driving force, whatever behind that. That was completely and utterly all on my wife's own. Was wanting to go shoot turkey with a bow with her father.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, like I backed and supported the shit out of that 200%.
Of course.
Now, obviously, everyone's seen the photos. I've had my kids out for a handful of duck hunts, like super easy, like pond shoots, stuff super close to home. So like the kids aren't getting up at freaking 3 a.m. and whatever. Like I try to
Yeah.
cater the
Oh,
shit as the
no.
best as possible
Absolutely.
for the kids, and they eat it up. They love it.
Yeah.
Now I can say I have a bit of influence on my stepson getting his license, which is great. He will probably have a 20 gauge
Real soon.
in the near future as a gift. Well, in fairness, his birthday's in September. So what would make a better
Perfect.
birthday gift next fall than a 20 gauge shotgun? Or maybe a 28. I don't know. Anyways, but
Oh,
it's amazing to see that he's gone through it, and the level of focus that I witnessed that child. I honestly think he actually scored better than my wife on the final test. Don't
I
don't
believe
tell,
it.
don't tell Dana
No, I
this.
would. I would
But
believe it.
I honestly think he scored better just because his level of focus
An interest.
in
Yeah.
in and interest into this course. And the biggest thing I think was honestly, I wouldn't say to appease me, but like to gain.
Yeah,
um
he's got a little bit more interest, and it's not. You don't have to make it. I know you're trying not to make it sound like he's doing it to impress you.
it partially is.
It is partially,
Yeah.
but you're trying to downplay it, is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But he's a young boy, and you're his stepdad, so
Yeah.
that's the way it is. That's what little boys want,
there is a certain level there.
of course.
But my biggest thing with the kids, it's I would never drag them out.
Yeah,
It's
no, me either.
Daddy's going to do this. Do you want to come? Daddy's going to do this. Do you want to come? It's never been, hey, guess what, fuckers? We're getting up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
We're going to stand balls deep in some stinky loon shit.
yeah.
No, it's okay. This is what Daddy's going to do. Do you want to come? I never wanted to force that onto them.
Nope.
Yeah.
And obviously, with a lot of the hunts, like the introductory hunts I've done with the kids, it's been super close to home. It's been like pond shoots. So like the walk is nothing to get from the truck to the pond or whatever. So like it's being very mindful of their mindset, their attention, and whatever else.
Yep.
And like not ruining it for them or scarring them. Like they get that little taste of, okay, we're waking up and it's still dark out, and like they're still getting like a bowl of like hot oatmeal for breakfast.
Yeah.
Daddy's blind bag has got more goddamn snacks than shot shells in it.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the biggest thing is just what, like, do you want to go? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to try this? It's never been, get your ass out of bed. We got shit to kill.
No, absolutely, buddy, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Craig,
that's how you introduce people, family, friends, neighbors, kids, spouses to hunting.
Just
Yeah,
anything in
Do
general,
you want
right?
to try
Just
this?
give them a taste.
yeah, and Craig, we've spent a lot of time on this show over, 210 episodes talking about people that are douchebags and do shit stupid and don't act like this and don't do that and stuff. And I remember a video that you had with Cam and him popping up at the layout blind
Oh, in the front yard, yeah.
in the front yard, and there were certain things that boy was doing that just it screamed that he's getting mentored, and it just said, this is a kid that's being shown, hey, listen, this is what you got to do. This is the right things to do. This is how to be ethical. This is how to be a proper, to maximize your chance of being successful when you pop up out of the blind, right? Like looking over the barrel of your gun and the whole bit. So, and Philly, I'm not taking nothing away from what you and your stepson is doing. But Craig, like when I look at the video of you or you having Cam out and teaching them and stuff, like what better way to, I'll use the word create, but maybe that's not the right word, but what better way to create a new hunter than take them from a young age and drill into them. This is the way to do it. I'm not promising you a bird every time, but this is the ethical and the right way to do things.
Yeah.
And now and Philly, and this goes between the both of you, you're building your hunting partner.
And like with that day too, and that was Caleb in there.
Oh, sorry, Caleb. Yeah.
And it's hard because all four of us, the four of us in this house, just have like very little patience and fly off the handle at the slightest thing. And Caleb's always been really hard to work with, just to say, it's like, oh, to try it this way. Because then as soon as you give any sort of suggestion or criticism or feedback, just complete shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He just thinks you're yelling at him. So it's like, I kind of got him set up and, gave him a few pointers. And then, so I just watched him and then trying to just say like, okay, like, yeah, get, because he's got the gun way out here. So just trying to give him a few pointers. And as soon as I started talking, it's like, you just see him do that shutdown thing. Right. And I'm like, all right, let's say, here's a couple tips. And the reason why that video is from inside, because I just gave him those tips and I'm like, I need to remove myself because I'm never the best mentor for him. Like it just, he and I, like his style of shutting down and my style of being like, I don't understand why you don't get this. It just doesn't mesh, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna remove myself, put myself in the house, and then I was just taking that video. And then it's like as I'm watching him, he's doing like the things I said, right? Like he's just taking his time because we had the youth hunt the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm like, all right, gotta at least get him through the motions and get him used to at least getting out of the blind
and doing it safely. Yeah.
Doing it safely, yeah. And it's like where to point and stuff like that. And then he soaked it right up. And the thing that really surprised me, because Caleb never really, like, either of them have very rarely ever come out with me. They've each come out turkey hunting the odd time. Cam's only 8 now, and he's usually the one that's a little more eager to come out and come help me set up a blind, because he always says he doesn't want to hunt, but he likes the idea of like doing all the work for it. And so, like, if I'm going scouting, same thing that Phil said. I'm like, oh, I'm going for a drive. Anybody want to come with me? Usually the answer is no. Sometimes I'll bribe Cam. It's like, oh, why don't we go? It's, it's Sunday morning. we'll grab some hot chocolates or whatever and go for a drive. Sometimes that works.
Yeah.
And but yeah, just like those little ways of getting involved in some way, even if they don't end up coming out to the hunt, they've been involved in some way. And I really didn't think Caleb was going to go through with getting his test, but then grandfathers started putting money toward, giving him money for his
Right.
birthdays for the upcoming tests and stuff like that. And he did the courses separately, and he killed it on both of them. Like I think it was mid 90s for like, I think he got like 94 on the PAL, and then like a 94 and 96 on like the whatever it was, the practical and the written for the
Wow.
hunting. So he kicked the shit out of those tests. But like I leading up to him, like I kind of went over a few things with him, just the basic things like the proofs and acts and stuff like that. But I just kind of let him do his own thing, because it's like they're going to
Yeah.
teach you well enough once you get there. I don't want to stress you out and
That's right.
overload you before you get there. And yeah, when he got there, he made he did the PAL course first, and he said it was kind of weird because he was the only kid there, and it was just a bunch of grown-ups there and stuff. But then the hunting course, there was people of all ages, so he made a new friend while he was there and stuff.
Oh, great.
And I know I personally know the guy who was doing the hunting course. So every time I see him, he just comments again on how well Caleb did and how
That's
much he
awesome.
participated, and so it was good. Like at no point there's been no stress on these kids to become involved or to show any interest. They're given the opportunity, but and it's worked because, like I said, like even leading up to it, I didn't think Caleb would even bother, and then he chose to go, and like I said, he kicked the hell out of it. So
No, amazing, buddy. And it really is to be able to, like I said, create your own hunting partner. It's pretty special. Like
yeah,
like my dad used to always say, if you think I'm jealous, you're right. So you both of you have had, some pretty monumental things happen to you in the season, right? So, and or I shouldn't say through the season, pretty monumental things that have happened in 2024 as we do this reflection on 2024, and it doesn't always have to be birds in the freezer or whatever. And I'm not downplaying the fact that we haven't put as many birds in the freezers that as much as we would like to. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm trying to put things into perspective as though, hey, listen, there's a lot bigger wins out there than filling your freezer full of birds. Don't get me wrong. I wish I had more birds in my freezer. But the fact is, since I've come back from out west, I haven't shot a duck since I've came back in November. All I've shot is geese. And that's mostly because I just want to hang out around. I just want to do easy hunts right this fall. I didn't really want to do any extremely hard scout, hard walk in. I don't have a boat anymore, so everything is walk in now and stuff, right? So the 2024 year, I think as a whole, because I talk to you guys every day, I think it has been a great year. Is there always room for more improvement? I believe so. Is there always something that you could say, next year I want to accomplish this? 100%. But that's the beauty about reflecting on your year, right? Go for it, Craig.
I was just gonna say, for me, like the big thing, like beyond what few hunts I got, and like the big hunt out west and stuff like that, was some new contacts, some really cool new friendships, and with people that there's like I would have never met, like going out
Right.
west, getting to meet and hang out with Mario, and then the guy they call the Viking. I don't even know what his real name actually is, but he's the Viking, and hunting with a guy from Iceland that now we're friends. And
Cool.
I see him posting videos of, because they hunt seagulls, they hunt ravens, they do all kinds of cool shit there. So I was asking him about that. He's like, what's involved? He's like, you just need a license. And I'm like, well, Carrie and I have been talking about getting back to Iceland. He's like, let me know when you're here. Let's do it. Right. And then even this weekend, like, well, when when I messaged you, Phil, the one time when we were going down to Whitby, like we're down there for a friend's Christmas party this past weekend, and it's like we know some of the people there, but then there's friends of friends and that sort of thing. And while we're there, this one woman comes over and she's like, "You're like a hunter and fisher guy, right?" I'm like, "I am."
Yeah.
And but this is like a friend of a friend who's like, like you've got the Facebook event kind of thing. So like she's
Yeah.
creeping
Yeah.
who all's going. And so she's like seen the stuff like that Carrie and I do, like my hunting stuff and all Carrie's dance stuff and all that. So she at this party where she doesn't know me, she came over, we got talking. Well, she turns out she duck hunts with her dad, lives over Lindsay Way. And so she hunts with her dad and got into it. And then her boyfriend doesn't hunt, but then we all got talking, whatever. Then she found out Carrie's a hunter. So now everybody's great friends. And again, there's like, yeah, let's get together and figure out a hunt sometime.
You're all
Absolutely.
BFFs.
Yeah.
Well, but isn't that the goal? Like, and I don't mean like every time you meet someone, you're purposely hoping that it's a hunter and someone that you're going to get to hunt with, and you never know, they may have a hot field or a juicy pond or something. But that's the goal, though, right? Like that's why we try to be social when we go out, is because you want to meet more people.
Yeah.
You want to have more people to talk to and talk about your passion and shit like that, right? Phil.
Well, again, even the guy that was posting about that field, when I realized, oh, it's the same field I was looking at, but like there's no chance of me hunting it. Like I was driving by it again today. I'm like, yeah, I'll be going by. I'll have a look at it and let you know if there's birds in it today, right? And
Yeah.
this isn't a field I'm going to hunt. It's a field I'm going by. It's not a guy I know, but it's easy enough to send him a message on Facebook and let him know if there's birds in that field or not that he's planning on hunting, right?
Yeah. No, and I want to bring this back to a little bit of more human stuff, right? So, anybody that watches this show, you know my history and my struggles and with mental health and the whole bit, right? Um, and 2024, hey, was there some challenging times? Yeah, of course there's some challenging times. And I think if you look at life and expect it to be um just this calm, even ocean every day, I think you're going to be severely disappointed. Um, there's nothing wrong with having some ripples in the ocean and some waves in the ocean. You just got to be able to look at it and ground yourself and bring you back, right? So, so I don't want to sit here and say 2024 was this amazing year and everything was, looking at it through rose-colored glasses and everything was fucking awesome and everything worked out for Damien. Hey, listen, there's been some struggles. There's been some sleepless nights. Um, but I'm still here. I still get to hang out with you guys every week. I get to talk to people. Like I still get blown away by the people that call me on the phone to have a chat with me that, I've been following them for years on social media and then now we're friends and they call us up. Philly, for you and just having such a busy year and trying to manage work and family and then your hobbies and everything, you know how do like what advice do you have for anybody that when they when they think this is the way life is supposed to be and life throws you that curveball, like what's your advice to anybody, because we do have some young people that listen to this, right? And I'm not taking anything away from older people that, hey, listen, everybody has some hard times. But if you were to give some advice to anybody that, hey, listen, like things are gonna screw up every once in a while and it's not gonna go according to plan, what would you say to these people?
It's all about balance. It is all about balance. Um, like you don't need to hunt 4 days a week. I don't give a shit who you are. You don't need to grind it 4, 5, 6 days a week. You don't. Unless you're a guide and this is your livelihood and this is what's putting food on your table and paying your mortgage, you don't. Now, one of the biggest things I've ever taken and have learned and lived by, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Hunt when you can. If you know shit's going to be hot, grind it out. If you're in the low swell, get other things taken care of. But it is all about balance. And I very much like, obviously, being a father, a husband, 2 kids. I have a full-time career. On top of a full-time career, I've got a side hustle as well. But grind when you can. During those low moments, you get other things taken care of.
Yeah, that's sound advice.
Yeah.
It's all about balance, and you know what? Like, take the good with the bad.
100%.
I think
Not every year is going to be a banger. It is what it
no,
is.
but I like to look at things. Jeff Coates always says things like everything is relative. Everything is relative, and put things into perspective. And I love that because if you can say I have more better days than bad days, I think you're winning. And that is as close to having balance, I think, that you can have. If you have more better days than bad days, I think you're winning. And that is, hey, listen, you might have some bad days. I don't want to turn this into real gloomy or anything like this, but I know that some people are probably listening to this and listening to us say how awesome 2024 was and how happy we are. And there's someone that's probably listening to this and has said, well, you know what? 2024 wasn't that great for me. And hey, maybe it wasn't, but you're still here. And we're what? I think we're 11 days away from 2025.
Yeah.
Fucking clean slate. Get
That's
through
one thing
the
I've been seeing.
yeah,
Sorry.
go for it, Craig.
I was saying like the last 2 weeks, it's like everybody, everybody's stories and posts on Facebook and Instagram. There's that, yeah, like when everybody starts posting about how great their 2024 was and yours maybe wasn't, just remember it's like at least you've gotten here.
Yeah.
Let's kind of step forward. And I think like to kind of touch on like you talking about like it's first part of the conversation, great year, like great hunting season and that, regardless of what that looks like. Struggle wise, it's like 2024 for a lot of people, and myself included, like was not a great year.
Yeah.
But the hunting aspect and it is what honestly helps get me through.
Level it out.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I think beyond balance, like for me, the thought that comes to mind is just connection too, right? Like because especially when if you've got a lot of shit on your mind, it's real easy to just kind of slink away and just
Mm-hmm.
and it's good to take your space or whatever, but then it can get, that's a bit of a slippery slope, right, where it's just like it gets a little hard to kind of step back in. And like for me, that's where it was a good year, where it's like connecting throughout the season, whether it was people like again, the people I'm just talking to and texting about fields that I'm not hunting with, or people meeting people on new hunts and new friends and that. And even like what was it, a couple weeks ago there, like when I messaged, I'm like, you know what, I don't really feel like coming on tonight. I just having a
Yeah.
shitty day.
Yeah.
And decided to kick myself in the ass, got on the call and had a great time, and then just stayed on for a while after chatting, felt a hell of a lot better. So I think it's just like when you're reflecting back on the year, I think you need to pay attention to any of those low spots and stuff as well, and just kind of do what you can to acknowledge them and see what you can do to kind of step up from them. And yeah, like find those connections, and not necessarily personal connections, but connection to something, right? Something that is going to keep you going or get you interested in something again, right? So just connect with something, find that balance, and yeah, just see what you can do.
Yeah. And just keep rocking it. Boys, we're about 75 minutes, but I'm not ready to shut this down yet because we've spent 75 minutes talking about 2024. And once 2025 comes in, we're going to hit it running. And I know we're going to hit it running. I know how busy the both of you are, how busy I am, how busy Mark is. and the whole bit. So I wanted to take, and if it takes us 15, 20 minutes, so be it.
I don't have 15 or 20 minutes.
All right, well then Philly's gonna shut her down. But you know, briefly then, Philly, give us the synopsis of what 2025 is gonna be for Philly and the crew.
2025 is going to be a banger. I can honestly say this year was a bit of like like the last couple seasons have been absolute just like next level with trips and whatever else. I can honestly say this year was like that lull, just a little bit of a
Catch
timeout,
up.
do things for myself. Next year is going to be a smasher. There's trips in the works, and it's going to be off the charts.
There you go. Hey,
That's what I brought on the table.
yeah, there you go.
Keep on
Craig?
keeping on.
Keep on keeping on, Craig. 2025, buddy.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting involved with you guys more, like doing the Sportsman Show and heading down to Oklahoma City. And it's funny because Carrie and the boys are planning on coming down for that too.
Yeah.
And it's like so, and it's Cam's birthday during Oklahoma City, so it's like we're kind of making that we'll make it into a family trip in some way.
We're all buying
it's
cowboy hats, not fucking
I was like,
lying.
and they're excited about it, right? And it's like just thinking, it's like, we're gonna make a family trip to Oklahoma City. Like, whoever says that, right?
Yeah.
but they're excited, and I'm like, honestly, like, I realized the other day, it's like since I got that new gun in, like, I haven't fired it. I took it on one hunt, and no birds came in. So I'm like scrambling. It's like, what can I do in January? Like, what can I do in the next week or so, and then even into January, even if I've got to go somewhere else. Like,
yep.
I'm looking forward to still trying to get something in during the winter to get out and just get a little more hunting and just hopefully keep the momentum going in like for next fall season. But also I'm looking forward to turkey season with Caleb. So
Yeah.
like I think turkey hunting is made for new people. Like it's a lot more comfortable. It can be as easy or as hard as you want, and I can set him up in the blind with a heater if need be, thermocell, and get him on a bird. Right. So like I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice. Well, fellas, I can't thank yous enough for putting up with me and my constant tormenting and asking you questions and saying I need you to come on to a show and dragging you around wherever I go when it comes to shows and stuff. So I can't thank you enough. You are as much of the success of this brand as what I am, and I can't thank you enough. I don't think we need to do a round table. Philly is about to thunder in on us. He's been up early. He's an old man now, and I think we'll end her right there. So my 15, 20 minutes turned into 4 minutes as I'm looking at the clock. Listen, everybody that's listening to this, congratulations on a successful 2024, and success is the fact that you're still here. And like I said, we're 11 days away from you having a clean slate and 2025 coming in. Take some time, recharge your batteries, because once the 1st of Jan comes, everyone's going to be hitting the road running again. We are not experts, and we'll never pretend to be experts. We're just a bunch of friends that love hanging out and talking anything, really, as evident in this show. Big love. Surround yourself with good people. See you in 2025.